Iowa football is often remembered by its recent success and not its rich history. Teams like Hayden Fry's 1985 Rose Bowl team and his three other bowl appearances, along with the 2009 team that received an opportunity to play in the Orange Bowl, and obviously our most recent 2015 Hawkeyes, have fought their way to another Rose Bowl showing. But rather than focusing on the obvious success stories, I decided to do my speech on a less talked about team, the 1918 Iowa Hawkeyes football team, a team that was stricken by sickness, loss of teammates, and war. They were able to battle against the odds and leave a mark on our history. During the 1918 season, the first day of classes were postponed until October 1st, with the first football game falling 3 days after against the Sailors, a team known for their brute strength. Not only did 2,500 soldiers that returned for an education bring high hopes, but they also carried the Spanish influenza with them, and it plagued the entire community. Because of this, campus was quarantined, and Coach Jones was unable to meet with his team until 2 weeks before the first game. He barely was able to make a lineup until days before the game. The Hawkeyes proved their strength and were neck and neck the entire way with the Sailors, but they were still unable to beat them. The following game was played against Coe College in Cedar Rapids, behind secured gates and without any fans, but that didn't stop the Hawkeyes from stomping on them and winning 27-0. That wasn't the only game that they did this. They had following games where they won 34-0 and 23-7, and in those times, those were pretty high-scoring games. The Iowa team continued to pummel their way through the season, beating the Huskers, who they were unable to contend with since 1899, and defeating the Minnesota Gophers for the first time in history during homecoming. Unfortunately, they did lose the conference championship to Illinois, but for the first time in years, they received an opportunity to play a postseason game. Strong leaders were exactly what this team needed during those times, and captains Ronald Reed and Fred H. Lohman provided just that. With little practice time, Reed was able to lead by example and keep his team focused and in high spirits. He was very athletic and practically capable of catching anything thrown his way, helping his team to plenty of victories. Due to his work on the field, Eckersall claimed that he was one of the best ends in conference. But Reed wasn't the only star of the show. Captain Lohman was unanimously chosen for the captain position and chosen by Eckersall for the second all-conference team. He was known for his smart, quick passing, much like our C.J. Beathard now, but not only did he succeed on offense, he performed well on defense with his hard, accurate tackling. During this time, the team numbers were extremely low, and most players had to play two positions, one on offense and one on defense. But the fact that he was able to be incredibly successful on both is what made Lohman stand out from the rest. Sadly, due to the war, football was being held to a much lower standard because many players chose to serve the country on the battlefield rather than the school on the football field. Iowa was not nearly as affected by this as other schools, but they did lose many senior influences whose spots were filled by new, young, and inexperienced players. The Hawkeyes were still able to produce 8 all-state team players. Reed and Hunzelman were placed on the all-conference team, and Lohman and Kelly were placed on the all-conference second team. Finally, on November 11th, peace was declared on our enemies, and 7,000 fans across campus rejoiced. The Hawkeyes won the state championship that year and continued with a season of 7-2. This team is practically unheard of, but they had such an influence on our community at the time. Even though they weren't soldiers on the battlefield, they appeared that way to the community, but as their own soldiers on the football field, and they became a metaphor for the town. Campus at the time was blanketed by a depression, and they were desperate for something to look forward to. The Hawkeyes did just that for them. Even though the beginning of the season didn't look promising, they continued to fight and became an inspiration for the rest of the community. It's interesting to see that we still do the same thing almost 100 years later. People continuously look for an escape from their daily struggles, and sports are able to provide that for many. In this case, football was able to provide a safe haven to everyone, and it was a way for the community to come together rather than pull apart during such tough times. A majority of society only hears of our success stories and not our trials and triumphs. But I believe what brings a deeper meaning to Iowa football is just that. The 1918 Iowa Hawkeyes are a perfect example. They were a team that was facing unbelievable obstacles, but was still able to remain positive and focused, paving the way for many years to come.